you guys? Welcome back to the Lover Girl Hour, the second episode. Today, I am here with Lance. You want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yes. Yeah. My name is Lance. I'm a student at the University in Memphis. Go Tigers, go. I'm soon to graduate in December, but before that, I started this podcast recently about all things music called the Listen to This podcast. Depending on when you're watching this, the second episode should be out now. But other than that, I'm just really a big fan of everything relating to music, just studying it, just studying random facts about it. And that's really just me in a nutshell. Like I don't know how else to explain myself other than that?
You're a writer. You do that too. An
Yeah,
award-winning
I dabble. I
an award-winning
dabble.
writer.
Yes, I did win an award for my work in the Daily Helmsman, the official student newspaper for the University of Memphis, which Paige was in for a minute before things happened. So, but shout out. We love our journalism department. And Paige herself, you won an award, two awards at the very same ceremony that I did. So hype yourself up just as much as you're hyping me up right now as well. So yeah.
I did. Award-winning list.
Award-winning journalist for real. We love to see it.
So we're going to talk about music. Well, we can talk about other things this whole podcast, but I wanted to jump right
Mhm.
into a topic that we have kind of been discussing since what, like May? When did the beef,
Since May.
when did the beef start? I'm not really sure
Late April,
when
yeah.
the Kendrick beef started, but I remember um quickly finding out that you were a Kendrick fan. So since I kind of got hopped onto the beef late, I've done my research on like how long they've really been beefing. It's a little bit longer than just now.
Mhm.
Now that we're at the tail end and nobody's dropping any more music, what do you think? Like, do you think this is beating the Nas Jay-Z beefs in history, NWA Ice Cube beefs? Do you think this is topping that?
It's up there. It's certainly not topping it because I feel worse things were said for a longer period of time in both beefs that you mentioned. Like shit. I'm trying to remember.
Nas did a
Um
lot. Nas did a lot.
he,
Yeah.
he did a lot. Yeah. Basically he basically in long term ruined Jay's whole credibility as as an artist by just proving that Jay can be washed for real. And I feel like Nas washed him in that beef personally, but that's just me. Shoot.
Yeah, I'm muting my camera, not camera, mic in and out because there's somebody downstairs doing renovations, and I didn't want to not do this. But I feel like there shouldn't have ever been a question of who was the better rapper between the two.
Right. Because I feel like to this day, Nas is still creating hits upon hits with the King's Disease trilogy. The other albums that he's making with Hit Boy, like Nas proves like his longevity, whereas Jay-Z, I mean, granted, 444 was a really good album, but then Jay-Z has not dropped in years after that. So it's kind of like we don't have much sample size to really prove that Jay-Z can still create bangers upon bangers in like 2020 and like in the 2020s and in greater length, whereas we have a lot of Nas albums this decade. So good on Nas for real. Good on Nas.
While we're on longevity, okay, I know you're a fan of Eminem, and you know how I feel about that recent song. You
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
so okay. Me personally, I feel like it was very gimmicky, but that's just his personality. It seems like that's what he's been doing. I want to know
Mm.
your thoughts on the track just in general, like taking out that Meg verse. What did you feel about the track from where he is where he is now at his age? And
Yeah, so I mentioned before, I really did not like the Megan line just because like it it feels unnecessary even with knowing the context of M's like shock value, like that he's trying to revalue his Slim Shady persona in 2024. I mean, other than that though, I kind of really like the track. I mean, it's it's I feel whatever Eminem needs to do in 2024 is to sound like all of the music that has defined him without sounding tacky, and I don't think Eminem sounded tacky in that song personally. Like even with the production, which I like on first listen, I immediately caught the production, and I thought this track was gonna be shit after first hearing that instrumental kick in, and then I kind of realized that oh, this was kind of the sequel to Without Me, and um it's even more prevalent in the music video. But I mean, in terms of my overall thoughts on the track, I think it's all right. I mean, it's not besides the Megan line, it's not really like harming anyone per se. And I it kind of feels like it kind of just extends upon what Eminem has been doing, which was capitalizing off of whatever was in pop culture and then just putting his own spin on it. And then we're just seeing the 2024 version of that with a bit of a concept of
Mm.
just bringing Slim Shady back in 2024. So hopefully the album works out for him as a whole. But
I think it
I
will.
feel like the song's a good track.
I
Yeah.
think it will. I had to think about it. Well, if a female rapper had gotten shot in 2002, he would have probably said the same exact thing, you know,
Oh
and
yeah.
that is he probably would have said something worse, to be honest. But
Hmm.
just everybody cracking jokes on Meg, as somebody who's not really even a real fan of her music, I'm not a fan of the jokes. I don't know what it is. After Nicki Minaj did Bigfoot, I was kind of over it. I was like,
Yeah.
this Bigfoot was not a horrible diss. She can rap.
Hmm.
Nobody's ever denied Nicki's rapping skills. The beat was terrible.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I thought was just the beat was terrible. So I felt like Eminem was just trying to like maybe they had some personal vendettas against each other. I'm not sure. I
I don't know.
have
Yeah.
not gotten into Eminem's entire discography.
Mhm.
I'm well aware of the first one, and I cannot name any other album after that. To be honest with you,
That's so crazy because I feel like the one episode of your radio show that I was on, I think you mentioned that, and I just laughed so hard when
I don't
when
know
you
what it
mentioned
is.
that.
It's something about Eminem that I've never been drawn to him. Like I've always thought he was cool. Like I remember the one, what is it, the MTV where he had a bunch of Slim Shadys behind him. Like I always thought that from a creative
Yeah.
standpoint, he was cool.
Mhm.
Um, but I heard somewhere that he dissed Michael Jackson, and then Michael Jackson like did something with his right
Yes.
or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because with Just Lose It, which was off of his album Encore, he the whole track was just a poking fun at the child abuse trials that Michael Jackson was going through at the time, and then and then Michael just kind of responded to it in first in a subtle way, just kind of like, oh, like why are we still doing this? This is not a thing to joke about. And then a few years later, he bought Eminem's music catalog. So yeah.
Did Eminem ever say anything in response to that, or did he just like laugh it off?
I think he just laughed it like as of what I know, it he laughed it off. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think he really said anything in
I
response
was
to that.
curious.
Yeah.
So I asked you this through text message, but what are your hot takes in music this year? Like, what do you absolutely hate and absolutely
Ooh,
love? Any predictions or anything like that? Because I'm thinking of some of mine.
okay.
Um,
Um, yeah, that's a
there's
great
too much
question.
going on in music. Me personally, I'm
Mhm.
a fan of Normani, and I don't think that I think that it was because she took really long to make an album. I feel like as an artist, you drop a single in 2019 and then we don't hear from you again until what we heard from her again in maybe 2021 or 2020 with Wild Side. and then that was kind of the last from her. So I'm like bored. I'm not. There's no way I can be a fan anymore. Plus, I wasn't a fan of Fifth Harmony, so I don't ever remember liking Fifth Harmony at all.
Okay.
We had an
All right, let's do it.
intermission, but we're back. I think I was talking about how I'm not really a fan of Normani, so we're on hot takes. I think her album comes out tonight, actually. She's doing
Oh shoot.
a Friday drop, actually, but I'll listen to it once I hear what everybody else thinks. I think it's on pace to sell like 280K the first week because of the previous singles that she had released that, which I don't like that. I don't like the let me put the single that I released 2 years ago on here so I can get some sales because I know the album is not going to do that well. Like, I'm not really a fan of that. I don't understand.
Right.
I don't understand that method. Like, it's just do a whole new rollout. Don't put a song on there that you released 2-3 years ago. That doesn't make any sense. But it's not. I just whatever.
No, because Brent Faiyaz did that with his Wasteland album in 2022. Because most of the tracks on there were just stuff. It was just stuff that he released in 2020 for real. It makes no sense.
I can't stand that. I remember when DJ Khaled dropped an album and then put the
Oh
song
gosh,
with
yeah.
Beyonce and Jay-Z on there that had been out maybe a year or so previously. And it was like,
Uh,
you just if you're gonna roll out an album, the singles need to be fresh. We need to have just heard them within the few first months.
Man, I really should have put that detail in my album rollout episode of the podcast because I didn't even think about that detail, but you know, yeah, it's kind of crazy how that works.
Just personally, well, to be fair, I can't say I'm a huge fan of a whole lot of new artists. I like and will look at what they're doing, but I just I'm not a huge fan of a whole lot of new artists, like people that are debuting within the recent 5 or 6 years.
Mhm.
So that's
Yeah,
pretty much it.
shoot. Because that's a real thought-provoking question with the hot takes for real. Because I could go with a lot. I could say, hmm, what could I say? Is the real question. Um, in terms of this year, this is genuinely considered like a hot take on at least rap Twitter, but I feel that because I listened to both 31520 and then Ada Vista, and I feel like Ada Vista was very much better in its version and like more polished in the process. But that's like considered a hot take on rap Twitter because is like folks are saying that like Gambino ruined like this whole mix, this whole vibe, like yada yada yada. Um, and then but beside like in terms of this year, it's really hard to choose because I feel that there has been a lot of good music
Mm-hmm.
out this year that folks haven't really had hot takes for. Okay, okay. I thought of one. I thought of one that I actually have, and
Okay.
I, I, I don't think "Not Like Us" is that good of a song. I don't, and I'm a big Kendrick fan, and I
You
think
cannot just say that without explaining why you don't think it's like
and I will explain it, yeah, but okay. So I mean, obviously, it's a good vibe with the West Coast beat. Like DJ Mustard did his thing on
yeah.
that. Um, I just didn't like it nearly as much as I did Euphoria and Meet the Grams, and I I feel like it's because I have become much of a hater this year in general. And I think that Euphoria and Meet the Grams kind of fulfilled my need for just pure hatred in this beef more than Not Like Us. Like Not Like Us could be
The
arguably the
hater song?
best like song. Like, but I think Euphoria is a bigger hater track than Not Like Us. I think Meet the Grams is way more of a hater track than Not Like Us because Euphoria, I mean, the man literally said, I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk, I hate the way that you dress. And he just like he just kind of without throwing the major shots yet, he was dissing just Drake's character as a whole um with just the ghostwriting, the um not knowing how to be a father line. I actually knew you know nothing about that. And then obviously Meet the Grams. Um First of all, Euphoria, you were the one that texted me that that was out, by the way. I didn't even know that that was out on a Tuesday morning until you texted me and was like, Lance Kendrick dropped.
And
So
then
that
I
was a
got that
memory.
from
And
Ava.
and then you got that Ava text.
Yes.
Oh man, I've but Meet the Grams, it's one of the best diss tracks of all time, considering the fact that um he was talking to Drake's whole family in that song, including an alleged second
Yeah.
child, a
Yeah.
daughter
That was
that
crazy.
that's 11 years old,
That was crazy.
and and saying that Drake should straight up die in that song was also crazy. I think
I'm all for that. I'm all for giving somebody a good, a good I hate you and I don't like anything about you. Like I'm all for that. But Not Like Us was funny. It was a funny diss.
it's funny.
It was not
It's
as
funny.
serious. It wasn't as serious as Euphoria or Meet the Grams. It was definitely like 69 God. Do you know how long I said that after I heard that song?
69 God is
I
crazy.
understand you because I've seen on Twitter. I deleted Twitter. It ran my blood pressure up like a few days ago, so I'm taking a break. I can't do it anymore.
Real. Very real.
But I understand why if you really like the real disses, I can see why you wouldn't like Not Like Us because Not Like Us isn't traditional. Number one, if the only other person to get a number one off of a diss was Drake. So he pretty much beat Drake at his
Yeah.
own game. Drake got a number one with Back to Back. And remember how everybody liked Back to Back as a
Yeah.
song. Outside of the Meek Mill diss, we just liked the song. So Kendrick beating Drake at his own game was something that I enjoyed. In
Oh
my
yeah.
opinion, Drake has never really won a rap beef because he's always beefing against people who are not as well known as him. So of course you're gonna win against Meek Mill because you're not as popular as Meek Mill. You're gonna win against Kid Cudi because you're not as popular as Kid Cudi. Other than that, I
Yeah.
really enjoyed I love Drake, and I'm gonna ask you a question when I'm done talking. I
Okay.
love Drake, but I just think he was never beating Kendrick. He was never winning that war. I don't even know why he even tried. He was never doing that. So while I'm on Drake,
There.
if you had to
Yeah.
choose between Drake and Kendrick, which means if you choose one, the other's discography goes away. Who are you
Mhm.
choosing?
Kendrick. Without any hesitation whatsoever, by the way, because I feel like you were trying to get me to
No,
hesitate and
no,
think
no,
about it
no.
for a
You need to
second.
be hesitating. I don't understand why you're not hesitating. Do you know who Drake is? You know how many hits he has? I wish y'all would
Yes, but
stop.
deep like how like I don't think, and this is obviously a personal answer and a
Mhm.
subjective answer, but I don't personally think that any of Drake's albums have been impactful to me in the overall like in the my dog just barking for no reason, but like um
Yeah, because I was on mute,
wait,
but
what we
your dog is barking because that was blasphemy.
hey, you know, it's
There's not a Drake album
Drake
that
did an
like
album called
you
For All
just
the
enjoy.
Dogs.
There's not a Drake album that you just like love. I've never heard
I
that.
mean, I love Take Care. I love If You're Reading This Is Too Late. I love Nothing Was the Same. I love Views. Like all of those albums are really good in terms of 2010s rap as a whole, but I feel that if if I had to choose one's discography to really kind of just overarch and just have impact on society as a whole, like I would choose Kendrick's because To Pimp a Butterfly, damn, Good Kid, Mad City, like just did things
Never
like
listened to
to
those in full, so I can't.
you really have to you really have to
You know what?
understand.
I've listened to Damn in full, okay? And Kendrick
Okay, yeah.
Lamar is exhausting to listen to. It's just
Okay.
like you have to be in a type of person to enjoy that. And I just love having fun, you know? Like views is fun. Views is fun. Thank Me Later is just
Damn is fun.
it's like that's why I've listened to Damn. It's fun. That
Good
other
Kid, Mad City is fun. You should listen to it in full, bruh.
I just have a lot of great memories attached to Drake albums. And I think that's just me because Drake was really the first modern rapper that I enjoyed before I got into everybody else that was rapping. It was Drake and then it was Childish Gambino with Because the Internet. Those were
Okay.
the very first two. And Views was like, 2016 was a great year. I know people talk about how we always go back to 2016, but that was a pretty good album.
Hmm.
Damn was good. And damn, it was fun. Now that you're telling me he has another fun album, I will go. But the other
He has a
ones,
lot of other fun
like the
albums,
one for a
please.
long time, my favorite Kendrick Lamar album was Poetic Justice with Drake on it. Like the only reason I knew that song was because Drake was on it. I used to be a huge Drake fan. I just put that out there. I'm not as big as a fan now. Haven't really liked the recent projects, but I used to be a huge Drake fan. So I need to go listen.
Yeah.
Also, the only Cole album I've ever listened to is full is 2914. Is it 2014 or 2013? What is
2014.
see
2014, yeah.
see what I'm saying? I was biased from the jump. I do not know.
The funny thing is, the only Cole album I really listened to in full was The Off Season. I didn't even listen to 2014 in full yet. I need to, but I haven't.
Cole is interesting because I mean, as a Beyonce fan, he did get the Beyonce song first. He got Party before everybody else. Like he got like, I
Hmm.
mean, and if we're going just personally, I'm not a fan of any of the songs that Kendrick and Beyonce have done. Well, America Has a Problem is okay. I'm not a fan of Freedom. I don't know. It's that
You're not
Kendrick
a fan.
Lamar stuff. It's that heavy stuff. It's that like exhausting music. Like what is freedom? Like what are you trying to say? But like it's that kind of stuff. The song that she has with Drake is more about like her emotional problems, and I prefer that over that. I like the performance of Freedom, and I hate that Drake and
Hmm.
Beyonce have never performed mine before. But as far as I know, Drake has beef with Jay-Z on and off for years. So it could be
Oh
that
yeah.
because I'm a,
Hmm.
Drake has got a song with Alicia Keys and then started beefing with her husband, Swizz Beats. Drake is the problem. That's what I've learned. Drake is the problem because he's beefing.
Drake is the problem.
He's the problem.
Like okay. That goes two ways for me in conveying the overall message that Drake is the problem. Because there's a reason that no one has gone after Kendrick Lamar over the years, like in a serious type of manner. It was, but then obviously the Cold War between Drake and Kendrick kind of just pursued itself over the years, and then Kendrick, like this was something that I touched upon in the first episode I did for Listen to This, which was that Drake didn't really do nothing to start it off this year, not gonna lie, because first person shooter wasn't even a diss.
No,
It
it
was
wasn't.
it was just a shout out to the big three, but then I see how Kendrick could have taken a slight because it's kind of putting him with it's putting him with these other rappers that he feels is not on his level in a way, and he's on that upper echelon. So then I guess that really gave Kendrick an excuse to kind of drop the nuclear bombs that he did and prove how much of a hater he was this year by dropping his feature on Like That. So that was just funny. That was just funny to me to witness.
How did you feel about Cole dissing and retracting his diss? And I think it was kind of confirmed that Schoolboy Q called J. Cole and said, like, don't. like,
um,
just don't. How do you feel about that? Or what were your thoughts initially?
so I mean, so I don't have as harsh opinions about it as other folks on the internet do. Like a lot of folks were straight up calling J. Cole a bitch for what he did. But I think I like a lot of people say on the internet that it was a smart business decision, and I think it was indeed a smart business decision because J. Cole and Kendrick, you would think that they would be allies in this whole scenario. Like they collabed a lot. They had this talk about a collab album that they were going to do that eventually fell out. But I think J. Cole did take the L in making the move to drop 7 Minute Drill, which was not that good of a track in the first place, and then retract it because his heart was not in the right place. Like if your heart was not in the right place, you had time to kind of go over the track and then just not release it in the first place. But then you did because you figured that it would give you a lot of attention in the first place and give you a lot of sales because that went top 10 on the charts. So I mean, ultimately, I feel like what J. Cole did in the long term was smart, but I don't think that he made the best route at all of getting to that point in the first place when he could have just really avoided it, you know?
I agree for sure. I like J. Cole. I think he's cool. I think he can rap. So I don't have much to say about him retracting the diss, whatever. Cool. It's never happened
Yeah,
in history before, like first person ever to do it. But it's okay.
yeah.
It happens. I feel like Drake had one good diss. I think Family Matters was good.
Mhm. I think
After
Family Matters was good as well. Yeah.
after Drake, it kind of came back and was like, okay, let me write for real. Let me show these people that I can write a diss track, yada yada. But who knows? The meaning of a ghost writer is that we won't know that you didn't write it. So who knows? Do you think that it's over? You think it's done?
It's hard to say because Kendrick has a concert soon in Southern California, and
Yeah.
there's rumors about him dropping a Not Like Us music video. So
Oh
I
no.
think I think Drake's side of
Yeah, I think
the whole
Drake
beef is over.
always like when Drake is beefing with somebody that he knows can rap better than him. His excuse is, "Oh, I'm too good for that." Like Pusha T, he was like, "I'm too
Pusha T, bro.
I'm too good for that. I'm too good to respond to Pusha T." Like his response is always, "I'm too good for that." But when he's dissing somebody who's not as good as him, like a Meek Mill, then he can
Mhm.
respond back with like a fire diss track. That's what I don't like about him. It's like, okay, treat everyone equally. You are a rapper. You are a rapper. When it's Pusha T, it's you're
Yeah.
too good for it. When it's Kendrick, it's I don't have the time of day to go back and forth with you, Kendrick. Like, but you did because you released diss tracks. So I don't understand that on the level of Drake. Now, I know Kanye hopped on some kind of Like That remix, or he did something. He recorded some kind of verse on there. Uh-oh.
It I would love to just briefly discuss that because it only deserves not even a minute of attention because it he starts off with with his own remix. Granted, the instrumental was a good spin on Like That, and then he did include an unreleased future verse, but he did nothing. Like if Kanye didn't release that track, I don't think the world would have cared. I think that Kanye was just like venting
He wanted to
because
jump
I
on the
mean,
Drake train. He
yeah,
wanted to jump on the Drake train. And that's okay, because from what I listened to, he has a lot of discrepancies with Drake. Like he just has some real issues with Drake. So, but you know what? Did Drake bad with that Find Your Love music video. You never had good intentions because that music video was terrible, Kanye. Let's just talk about it. That was the worst hip hop music video I've ever seen. You never had good intentions. But I just wanted to talk about that and how you felt about that. While we're on just music, because we're
yeah,
probably on it for a while, what are your favorite releases this year outside of the Kendrick disses?
yeah, yeah. So outside of the Kendrick disses, of course, because like that's low key the number one pick for my song of the year right now
Mm-hmm.
because it really just kind of kicked off this whole thing that led to our discussion now about the beef. But besides that, I really enjoyed the new album from K Tronada that he released called Timeless. He released it at the perfect time as well because it's summer and you know you're always looking for those summer vibes, the summer dance beats. I feel like, and we can get into this later. I feel like your love of drill rap is is equivalent to my love for house music and dance music.
And I don't like house
So
music, so not a huge.
so and I don't like drill rap, so it kind of
Y'all are not
makes
going to
it.
keep getting on this podcast and talking about how I like drill rap. Y'all are not going to doing that, okay? I don't understand what y'all's issue is. Y'all have never heard like a full drill mixtape to tell me that it's not good. Like to tell me that it's not good. I feel like
What substance is there in drill music, Paige?
anything like it's music just like everything else. If you think about it, like drill rap is no different from just hood music, period. Like if you like NWA, I don't really see the difference. It's just the same. It's just different eras. And I think
It does nothing for me. It does nothing for me in particular
there's
because
such an
I mean
break it down because I'm about to shut this down. I'm about to shut it down. Let me break it down. I like drill rap because I love New York. I love everything about New York. And I think that these dudes can rap outside of the vulgarity. Some of them know how to rap. Like they're just good rappers. And like a lot of the times they're not writing, they're just freestyling. So I think that's impressive. There is a dark side to it, obviously, because people are actually going to prison and actually doing terrible things. But I think they can rap. I think most of them are no older than like 22. And I think that might be the negative side of it, is that they're too young to be talking about what they're talking about. Like you haven't even graduated high school. Why are you talking about? I understand why certain people don't like it. I feel like Chicago drill is more respected than the drill that I like. And I like Chicago drill, but I definitely think that Chief Keef is kind of to some people looked at as like some kind of icon. And I feel like we gotta show the same kind of respect to the young drill dudes. Bobby Shmurda, like, come on.
okay,
You
yeah,
liked that song when it came out.
okay,
A rapper. You
okay,
like Pop Smoke. That's a drill rapper.
yeah.
I don't know if people consider A Boogie a drill rapper, but I know 504 and I'm not a fan. I'm not a real fan of him. So yeah, I just think, in my past life, I was from New York. That's what it has to be.
No, because it's not that I don't like drill rap. It's
You
just
don't.
that it no. Okay. Let me paint this picture for you because y'all weren't there when Paige like took a break from her radio show to play some music and eventually showed us a music video. It was me, it was Star, it was Ava. I think it was Landon in there as
Yeah,
well.
he was there.
And and it was about he filmed it at the dude's cemetery.
Okay.
If I'm
You know
not
what? I
but
ain't gonna lie to you. I had to cut that video off when I first saw it. That's one of my favorite rappers. That is one of my favorite drill rappers. Like he can rap outside of the stuff that he does. He can rap really well, and I think he's only like 17 or 18 years old. So I really like him because he can rap. But when I saw that video, I said, "Yeah, I'm not watching this." I
you
can't do
finished the
this.
music video though. I mean, granted.
He should. I mean, and what's the real villains of drill rap are the editors of the video who edit the dead people's
Hmm.
pictures on. Like the real villains are those editors that always want to remain nameless for some reason. I Landon was actually at my house when I first showed him like drill rap, and it was like 10 videos back to back. I was trying to get him to like.
Oh no. Landon, if you are watching this, Landon, I am so sorry that that
Why are
happened.
you sorry?
Because it's 10 straight drill rap music
And there's
videos.
nothing wrong with that.
It's 10 straight to get the man to like it.
And he still didn't like it, but it's okay. He watched.
As he shouldn't.
You know what? Whatever y'all don't like drill rap, whatever reason y'all don't like drill rap for is y'all's own personal issue, and I don't have anything to do with that because I love drill rap. I love all types of. Really, to be honest, I don't know if Tay K is considered drill because he's not from New York or he's not from Chicago. I think he's from like Texas. He may just be rap,
I
but I
think
feel like
that's
I would put
real.
him in that category. And Tay K is pretty well respected for the most part. Like that whole mixtape is pretty well respected. I understand why people don't like drill. It's loud. A lot of times the sampling is overdone. I think the most recent drill rap sample I heard was a Irreplaceable by Beyonce. And I was
You
like,
showed us that.
who cleared this? Who did this? Like, and then it's just like their careers are so short lived because they always end up in jail. They always end up in jail. It never lasts very long. But I mean, house music is
Right.
okay. I liked Beyonce's house album. And I like Honestly Nevermind by Drake. I like that
I
album.
did
A lot
too.
of people didn't like
Yeah.
it, but I really enjoyed that album.
Mhm.
So
That that's a that's a hot take that I just thought of. That honestly, never mind. It is indeed a good album.
it is. You're absolutely right.
Like, and it's kind of it was kind of on the same justification that I said with the K Tronada album that it kind of just released at the perfect time, and because you would I have like a core memory of just being on vacation with my friend in California and then just bumping that whole album as we were just like sitting beachside and just vibing.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if you wanted more substance in that Drake album in particular, then
Mhm.
that's fine by you. I enjoyed it just because of the vibes.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's really it for that.
So I feel like, do you like any female rappers right now? Like, are you a fan of Megan or, are you a Nicki Minaj
Yeah.
fan? Do you enjoy Nicki Minaj or is it?
So so with female rappers, I
Mhm.
really need to get them more in my regular rotation. But from what I'm hearing, like I'm loving Glorilla's stuff. I'm loving the Yeah Glow track that she put out recently. I love Megan. That's why I took offense as well to that Eminem line because Megan's a rapper that I like. Um, so Glorilla, Megan, I like some of Cardi B's stuff. I'll be honest, like I used to not really be that big of a fan of her music. And then I think it was a song called Hot Shit with Ye and
You like
Lil
that
Durk
song?
that I did. I really did.
First person ever that I've ever heard say that. So that's why I mean, she could have left that in the closet for me. And I
She could have left the Ye verse in the closet.
well,
It,
to be fair, as much as I admire Kanye West, it's just something about his lyrical ability. It kind of makes me question who was writing that stuff 10 years ago, 10, 20. If you're rapping like this now, who was doing all that stuff 10, 20 years ago? Were you was it because it's just hard. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't have anything else to say.
he really doesn't. Like he's a self-proclaimed billionaire who I mean, all he kind of talks about nowadays, he still makes references to anti-Semitic stuff, and also his divorce with Kim. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he
It's
doesn't have
kind
anything else to say.
yeah.
I feel like 20 years ago, he of course had a lot to say in 2004. It was the very
Mhm.
album. So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Cardi B, just because it's a personal thing for me. And Drake is the only exception to this. Really, is Drake. Is I really like writers, people who can write their own music. And for a long time, I didn't even know that Drake wasn't writing his own music. Like I
Mhm.
recently found that out. I think when Pusha T dissed him, I was like, okay, I thought he was writing all that stuff. Then I found out some kind of bad stuff about Drake, about how like the whole Views album was definitely paying homage to dancehall and reggae and stuff like that. But he would invite reggae and dancehall artists to get on those tracks and then cut their whole part off, and then it would
Oh
be
man.
a solo Drake song. If I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken, it was One Dance, and then it was also Controller. He did it with that too. So that's when I kind of was like, well, maybe he's not a good person. He's not a good person making good music. Drake is
Yeah.
really the only exception for the not knowing how to write music thing. I'm a huge fan of people who can write a song. So Cardi B winning a Grammy off that album that I went back and listened to, and it was
She
not a
should.
good album. That is a horrible album. It's not better than, it's just, it has Bodak Yellow on it and maybe a few, like maybe two other songs that I thought were good. But to be in the same category as Nipsey Hussle and Mac Miller and to take an album, a Grammy home, I can't even get my words out. It still bothers me. I remember when I was watching it, and I just
Hmm.
knew Mac Miller was going to take that Grammy home because he had passed away. And I figured they were just going to give it to him for that because they flew the family out. I was like, Nipsey or Mac Miller, in my opinion, because that Nipsey album was really good to me. I love West Coast music. When
Hmm.
Cardi B, as someone who's not a Nicki fan, it infuriated me that Nicki Minaj has no Grammy. Like, I just feel like that's a rapper who should have.
Oh,
If Little Kim has a Grammy,
yeah.
if Missy Elliott has a Grammy, I just feel like Nicki Minaj should. And I'm not a Barb. I don't get into that. I had to get off Twitter. I can't do it anymore. I'm tired of it. But to think, doesn't Doja Cat have a Grammy? Doja Cat has a Grammy, and so does Megan.
I think she won one. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just think it's unfair. And to no, Doja Cat and Megan deserve their Grammys for sure. I'm just saying,
Hmm.
Cardi B getting that Grammy, it did feel very, we're giving you this because we're trying to make Nicki Minaj mad. That's why we're giving you this Grammy, because we want Nicki Minaj to
Yeah.
be upset about the fact that she doesn't have one.
Yeah. Because, oh man, I remember that because at the time, because Kamikaze was also nominated, and at the
Was
time
it?
I
Oh,
was bumping Kamikaze a lot, and like at the time I felt like that really should have won the best rap album. Like I've had whole debates about it.
now that
I don't
I
have
now that I know he was in that category, that's even more of a reason for me to be like, how did she take that Grammy home? What was Drake in the
right.
category, or was it just those albums we named? I have a feeling there has to be more albums.
Astroworld
What? Bye.
was nominated. Yeah, literally.
That's
That's
crazy.
what I feel now. That's what
That's
I feel
crazy.
now should have won. Exactly.
Yeah,
Shit.
that was a sympathy Grammy. That was, we're gonna give you this Grammy because we don't like somebody else. That's what that was. And in so many ways, Cardi B winning that Grammy, just in my opinion, it it it
Mhm.
it was it was one of the reasons people stopped caring about Grammys. I really do think Cardi B taking that Grammy home was the reason a lot of people stopped caring within the recent years,
Oh
because
yeah.
just ridiculous. And some artists that don't have a Grammy, like Snoop Dogg not having a Grammy, for some reason I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with that. Tupac didn't live long enough, and
I
neither
get
did
it.
Biggie. So that's why
Hmm.
they don't have a Grammy. Aaliyah not having
True.
a Grammy, I'm okay with. She only has 3 albums. Okay, she doesn't have a Grammy.
Yeah.
I recently found out that band, is it ABBA? They don't have a Grammy. Katy
Mm.
Perry doesn't have a Grammy. I have a problem
Mm.
because Teenage Dream is one of my favorite pop albums of all time. Like, I just remember
Yeah.
that like it was yesterday. So shockingly, I don't know. I don't know what it is about the Grammys. I have a love-hate relationship with them. So
Oh God, I could talk about so much that the Grammys have done wrong, not nominating After Hours by The Weeknd.
Do they have a
Um,
vendetta against him? Is it something? Because that was weird. I remember when that happened.
that was super weird. They put out a statement like not everyone can be nominated. Bullshit. Like if you don't if you choose that, but because what other albums were nominated that year? I don't even remember.
After
Must
Hours was
have
2020,
been
right?
After Hours.
After Hours
Yeah,
was 2020,
2020.
right? I don't remember there being a
Mhm.
huge lineup of albums 2020. I don't remember it being like an overflow of music in 2020. I know.
Right.
I just remember 2020 being one of those off years for music because we were all stuck on the pandemic. I don't remember it
Hmm.
like a huge mute, like a money. I'm thinking about money. A huge music. I, I remember when that happened. Remember when that happened. And it was interesting because as a person who loves R&B, I already have the vendetta against only 3 Black women having the album of the year. So
Hmm.
sliding at Black Man for a really good album is just something that bothers me. The Grammys already knows their history with Black people in general. They know that what their hit. Beyonce has no album of the year, but is the highest awarded Grammy winner.
I was about to say, yeah.
And she lost.
Like, okay. Uh-huh.
I'm about to get mad. Let me calm down. Don't. I like Taylor Swift. Before I say this, Ava, whoever finna watch this, when
Ava.
Fearless winning over I Am Sasha Fierce blows my mind every time. Like
Kanye
Fearless
had a point about that.
Fearless was her very first work. They could have waited. They could have waited for that to be Beyonce's, what was it, her 4th album, and she had won pretty much every pop award over Taylor Swift in that in
Hmm.
and okay, her Lemonade, what was it that year? Was it
It
Lemonade
was Adele's 25. It was
25?
Adele's 25 that
Adele
won.
definitely deserved that. Adele should have never got up there and apologized. You deserve that Grammy. You deserve that Grammy. You aren't Taylor Swift. You deserve that Grammy. To me, I feel like if we're talking about, I don't know, who was the first Black artist to win album of the year? Stevie Wonder. I think it was Stevie Wonder. I was shocked it wasn't Michael Jackson, but then I realized Stevie Wonder came first.
Yeah, Stevie Wonder. Yeah, for sure.
Um, does Michael have album of the year? Yeah, it has to be Thriller. It has to be Thriller. It has to be the night he took like 9 home.
Yeah. I'm going to double check that for you, but it's the fact that speaking of Grammy snubs, like I liked 1989. Like, but I'm sorry, Ava. I'm sorry to all my like Swifty friends out there. It's not beating To Pimp a Butterfly in any single category whatsoever. And like, granted, they collabed later on, and there was no hard feelings, but I feel like that's an easy choice personally.
You know,
Like, shit.
I enjoy 1989. I personally think that's her best album, just for me, because I remember I Shake It Off is not one of her best songs, but that is a great album. Taylor Swift can write a song. She should just be an author. I keep saying this. But
Yeah.
To Pimp a Butterfly, I told you I never listened to a full Kendrick album, but I know some singles. That's a pretty good
Hmm.
album. That's a pretty good album. I like it. Taylor Swift is just, she must know somebody. She must know somebody. I can't
She has to.
I cannot imagine. I don't know. Another year I was super confused is when Casey Musgraves took album of the year home for what was it, Gold?
Mm.
And I was like, who is this girl?
Golden Hour, yeah.
I've heard this album before, but then I went to the album and I was like, oh wait, this is good. This is good. What recently won over SOS in Renaissance? Was it Midnights or
It
that
was
album? One of them.
I think it was the Harry Styles album,
Oh, you're
wasn't
right.
it?
It was Harry's house. It was Harry's
It,
house. I didn't like Harry's house.
I liked it, but it wasn't
It wasn't
nearly
better
as good as
than
SOS.
SOS. To be fair, I would have preferred SZA taking that Grammy home rather than Beyonce.
Uh-huh.
They had their chance to give Beyonce album of the year. Y'all had 5 other albums to do it for. And I don't understand. Well, I told you I think she didn't deserve it for Lemonade. I definitely think 25 should have got it for that. But I Am Sasha Fierce has was one is her most popular. I don't know.
Yeah,
I have an issue
I'm
with
gonna.
Grammys. It's what's interesting is as much as I don't like the Grammys, everybody I like has been pretty well awarded. Like Beyonce, highest awarded,
Yeah,
Alicia Keys, 16. Like there's it's a love-hate relationship. And I feel like, do you think, because I asked the last guest this, is an artist not having a Grammy mean a whole lot to you?
I I don't think so. I mean, in terms of personal achievements, I don't think having a Grammy is all that. I just think that it endangers like, huh, at the time of recording this, I got that notification as you that Star released her new video, but check that out. Um, I feel like the only thing that I really value about the Grammys is how much of a scale are you determining these respective albums on? Like, how can you say that this album is better for the music industry than this album? Like, you're part of the music industry and you think that this album is better? Like, that's the only
That yeah,
gripe I
I
have in terms
agree.
of the award system in general. Yeah.
I did my research. I'm about to pull it up. I did my research when I was just sitting and I was like, what are the requirements? Like, what are these people looking for when they look at what? So I just did it for album of the year. So let's pull it up. Let's see what their requirements are. Of course,
Which Michael Jackson only won once for Thriller, like not even Off the Wall. Bad was nominated, but it didn't win that year.
they snubbed
Shoot,
him for Bad that year, didn't they?
they did.
Yeah, he won one thing. It was for a video.
Yeah,
So the albums are judged off eligibility. You know, there has to be a time limit, of course. They go off of impact, the impact on the music industry, as well as commercial success and how
yeah, okay, Impact.
album influenced. And then they go off of artistic ability, their overall achievement, the quality of the songwriting, production, and vocal performance. And then, of course, it's peer based. So it's other engineers. That's really it. They go off of
That's
that's really
yeah,
it. It's so I read an article maybe a year ago that said that the Grammy voters didn't put Beyonce on any of the ballots because she wins too many awards. And that further let me know that there's somebody in there with an issue with Beyonce. Like, not that they don't like
yeah,
music, they don't like Beyonce. And I know there's some artists, I think Jermaine Dupri is one of the Black producers that's on that that's on that voters list or whatever.
mm.
So that leads me back to, if we're going off of artistic ability and impact, how did Beyonce not win for I Am Sasha Fierce and Taylor Swift?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like, whatever, it's okay. If we're going off of, to be fair, The Weeknd is second to none when it comes to how he rolls out his albums and his eras
Mhm.
and how he embodies an album. I have not seen that really since Michael Jackson, like the way an era is embodied and how he carries
Oh
that.
yeah.
Rihanna also did a good job at it. When she was in that album, she was in that album. It was that album.
Hmm.
So I only a few can do that. So if we're going off of artistic ability and The Weeknd doesn't get nominated for After Hours, they
Like,
I don't understand.
and, and that makes me understand why The Weeknd like essentially pulled himself off of the nominations. Like he essentially boycotted the Grammys after that, and as a result, Don FM was not nominated when it easily could have been.
Yeah,
But that,
didn't he say he wasn't going to submit it? He didn't submit it, didn't he?
yeah, I think he said as long as like he's making these bodies of music, I don't think he's going to submit any of them to the Grammys just because of how dirty they did
But
After
technically
Hours.
they can still nominate him. Can't they?
I mean, I don't know how the process works. I know that albums are submitted for consideration, I think.
Yeah,
So,
I don't. Whitney Houston only has two or three, to be fair.
which is
She
crazy.
doesn't have a lot.
Yeah.
And I can't believe somebody like Whitney Houston, because I've heard arguments that Whitney Houston was not an album maker. She was a single person. She was a single girl. So like her ability was only singles and not full albums.
Mhm.
Yet she is one of few R&B artists to have album of the year. I just want to put
Yeah.
it out there. Just want to put it out there. I don't. I also think it's kind of wild that Janet Jackson doesn't have album of the year. And I don't,
Hmm.
oh, you weren't in the group chat when this was happening. But me and Devin kind of went back and forth about how, Devin called Janet Jackson the GOAT. And I was like, who?
Huh?
And, and he was like, just to me, I just feel like Janet Jackson is great. She is iconic. She is not the greatest of all time. But
No.
talking about albums that kind of changed the game, Control was one of them. She kind of
Mhm.
changed. I Madonna. I need to do my research. Does she have album of the year? If she doesn't, I feel like I'm gonna get upset.
That's an amazing question. I feel like if any if any other Janet Jackson album should have won, it would have been Rhythm Nation as well.
Yeah.
Like shit.
Oh wow.
That is an amazing question. Because I think I'm looking at it at the same time as you are
Mm.
with just
I'm not
researching.
seeing album of the year anywhere. Wait. Well, she does.
She has one.
It looks like she has one for Ray of Light.
Yeah, she was nominated for Ray of
Oh,
Light.
she
That
didn't
like
win. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I'm clearly looking at nominee and not winner. Dang. Madonna not having album of the year? Hmm. The girl who kind of changed pop music, not the girl who. This is ridiculous. If it's not,
You would think that she would have won it for like a virgin at least.
as okay, so Cher is kind of like Madonna's mother in a way.
Yeah.
A lot of the things Madonna did with the vulgarity and the sexualization, that was Cher first. A lot of people forget that. That's part of the reason why I feel
Mhm.
like her and Sonny ended up divorcing. Cher only has
Right.
four Grammy nominations, period. And the first, like as a solo artist, the first nomination was 2000. So, and Cher has been making music since like 1959. So
Right.
I wouldn't have showed up. Don't nominate me for something 30 years in my career. Please don't do me like that. Just don't. It's like when they give those artists lifetime achievement awards after never nominating for them for anything ever during their career.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't like the Grammys that much, but
Mm-mm-mm.
it's okay. It's okay. I feel
Dude.
like they do. If I had an award show and I just got to vote who I wanted to vote for, I'd probably be picking and choosing too. I can't even lie. It'd probably be Beyonce every year. So I don't.
Yeah.
While we're
Man.
on, let's see. I'm trying to think of another question.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'm gonna be so mad if they give Cowboy Carter album of the year. Not because it's Cowboy Carter, but because I feel like they should have given Renaissance album of the year
I'm
and
gonna be
like you
mad for
said, so
so many
many.
reasons. It's gonna be like, okay, y'all
Yeah.
gave her album of the year. That was for pity. You didn't really like Cowboy Carter.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
didn't
Yeah.
really like Cowboy Carter. You felt bad after Jay-Z got on the stage last year and said that about her. It's like now because
Hmm.
I know Ariana Grande is not gonna win, but I want her to. I know she's not gonna win because I know the Grammys doesn't like her either, but
Mm.
they're gonna nominate her and they're just gonna have her show up and she's not gonna win. Dua Lipa's gonna
Yeah.
be nominated, but I don't think Dua Lipa's gonna win. Um, I kind of hate that Dua Lipa didn't get the traction that she got from this album from the last one. Because I definitely feel like
Mm.
she was really trying. Another, well, Metro Boomin is probably going to get nominated for album of the year.
He should. He should with that "We Don't Trust You" album. We still don't trust you. I mean, it's a good album, but it wasn't nearly as good or as impactful in the long term as "We Don't Trust You,"
So
in
I
my opinion.
um Can't think of anybody else I'm okay with winning. Um,
Maybe I would want to see Charlie XCX get nominated for that album that she just dropped.
Let me just give
It's
you
such a
a second.
banger.
I thought Charlie XCX was Camila Cabello for like 2 weeks. And every time I would hear that Camila Cabello song, I love it with Playboy Cardi, I thought that was Charlie XCX because that is something sound
That's so funny.
would do. And I
That's so funny because there's like a whole internet war going on between Charlie XCX fans and Camila Cabello fans because folks think that Camila is stealing album ideas from
it
Charlie
feels like
XCX,
it.
especially when it comes,
Even the
yeah,
style of the album,
especially, mm-hmm,
it
absolutely.
feels like it. It feels like it. I just thought they were the same. And Camila Cabello, I'm not. I've never been a fan of her. I don't know, even know the name of any album. Getting Drake
Yeah,
on 2 songs on the same album is wild. Just calm down. You don't need to do that many Drake songs. So before we
same.
conclude, I want to know like your favorite songs. Did I ask this? Your favorite songs or albums of the year?
Sure, yeah, I was getting into it, and then we kind of just drifted off on a
We did.
tangent, um, on a heavy tangent. But um, I mentioned the K Tronada album. I loved the Ada Vista album that Gambino came out with this year with the finished version of 31520. I loved the Charlie XCX album. I think that's my album of the year so far, but that may be just recency bias. Like who knows where I'm going to be 6 months from now as the year ends. I really liked the We Don't Trust You and the We Still Don't Trust You albums from Future and Metro. And I'm really excited on where Metro's heading this year because I think Jid's gonna be releasing an album with him sometime soon this year. You know he's probably gonna have some production over like a future like Kendrick album that Kendrick may release this year as well. So it's exciting for Metro to just be the top producer of the year. And it's really like we're only halfway through, and I feel like music has been so much more active this year than it was last year. Because not gonna lie, last year I wasn't really feeling a lot of the um albums and songs from last year as much as I do this year because last year we got Utopia, we got the estate sale from Tyler the Creator, and that's the thing. Like I feel like if it was such a great music year, I feel like I should be mentioning these albums and songs like off the top of my head, but then I kind of just list a handful and it rarely comes back to me. So I'm really excited for music in 2024.
Me too. I don't have a lot of new songs that I really, really enjoy right now.
Mhm.
Um, I really enjoyed Coco Jones single. Here we go. I was first kind of turned off because I'm really tired of the sampling. This is coming from a Drake
Mhm.
fan. I'm tired of it.
Yeah,
Like,
that's funny.
let's be creative, please. Just come up with something new. But she was really creative. The song was much different from the original. It just had the same beat. I like Victoria. I'm still kind of listening to Victoria Monet's um Jaguar 2. And
Hmm.
I am getting into Andre 3000. So I'm getting into his old stuff.
Yeah.
I remember I told you in the group chat, I like, this is Childish Gambino Up and Down. What's that one album? The album is not called, it's the one with Redbone and Me and Your Mama on there. What is that album called? Awake.
Awaken My Love. Yeah.
I listened to an Andre 3000 song and I was like, baby, Childish Gambino heard this and said, let me go make a full album that sounds just like this. That's exactly what he did.
Right.
And and I, as somebody who enjoys Childish Gambino, I think because the internet is one of the greatest rap albums I've ever heard in life.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, it's interesting to find when super creatives have somebody that they obviously took from. Like, okay, I see where you got it from. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not into a whole lot. I really did like Eternal Sunshine by Ariana Grande. I feel like it was the first time I felt like an album was super personal to her. I do feel
Mhm.
like Thank You Next was personal to her, but I feel like just this was way deeper. I
Yeah.
am anticipating Megan Thee Stallion's album. I'm hoping it's going to be good because for a long time I didn't really like her albums post 2021. I wasn't really a fan.
Hmm.
I will be listening to Normani's album, even though I am not excited. I will wait. I will let it die down. Drake claims he's doing something. I'm
Yeah. All right.
on the lookout for.
He's always doing something.
That's true.
He's always doing something.
Cowboy Carter. There are rumors that she is announcing her tour. I am debating whether I'm gonna go because I wasn't a huge fan of the album. And I
Hmm.
watched the Renaissance tour movie, and it did seem like she's gonna sing a majority of the songs on Cowboy Carter. Beyonce's Cowboy Carter just let me know that she was the weirdo that I thought she was. It was a weird album. It was different. She was trying new things. I'm not a fan of it, but I'm a buy the ticket. I liked it. I don't think she has a bad album. It's not a bad album. I just don't love the album. Let me clarify.
Hmm. Yeah,
Oh, that is it. I'm
for
not
sure.
anticipating any other music. I don't. Kendrick Lamar. I will watch the music video if there is one.
You got to. You absolutely have to, bro.
I'm gonna post this probably Saturday, so your podcast will already be out.
Okay.
So
Cool.
please check out Listen to This because I
Woo!
first one and it was so good. We have a future radio host podcaster. You will be on the radio this fall. Is that the title of
Yeah.
your radio show? Is that the title of your radio show?
I so there was a few discussions about having it on for the summer as well, and also the fall. It hasn't really come into like traction as of recently, because folks have been busy as of late. But if I can get it on there at some point this summer, that would be amazing. But it's definitely going to be there in the fall. Like I'm doing everything to at least get it on there in the fall for sure.
I feel like July is going to be a good month for that, just because people are winding down
Okay.
from the summer starting in July. And
Yeah.
I don't see why. I'm excited for everything that you're doing, and congratulations on your
Yeah.
podcast. Thank you so much for joining me
Thank you.
today. Thank you guys for watching.
Yes, ma'am.
You will be back. We will be back for a part two after
Mm-hmm.
music drops. We
Oh
will.
yeah.
Thank you so much, guys,
Yes,
for
ma'am.
watching. See you guys later.
See ya. See ya.